Hi everyone. So I thought today I would walk you through how I use Notion. I'm a PhD student in psychology, and I've recently started using Notion to help plan anything and everything related to my PhD, as well as just life as a grad student. This is completely new for me, so there's still lots of things to work out, but I thought I would show you how I use it right now, and maybe in the future I can show you how I change things and adopt them based off what my semester looks like. Because one thing as a PhD student is that nothing ever looks consistent, and you really need to adapt what works for you in the moment. So to start, I have my dashboard page. So I have a quote here just to help motivate myself. I also keep track of things to help keep me organized. So I do like to still use a paper planner, but just with PhD life, it can become quite overwhelming. Things can change fast. There's a lot going on. And so I need digital to try to keep track of what's happening in the moment. And then I use my paper planner to memory keep everything that happened. So on the sidebar, I just have some fun things to keep track of: what I'm currently reading, what I'm currently watching, and what I'm currently burning. Um, I also have habits that I have based off goals I want to set, as well as just things I need to keep in routine of. One being daily action items, so I can just check off each day, and then at the end of the week, when I fill it out in my planner paper, I can add it there. I also have my weekly action items and my monthly action items as well. Then I have my week at glance, so I filter all my jobs, courses, anything really related to being a grad student by the week, so I can see exactly what I have for the week. As you'll see on one of my pages, I have a large database for that semester with all my related jobs, projects, and coursework. And through that, I then filter what I still need to get done at kind of a week at a glance. Once it's done, it actually disappears from this week at a glance, so I'm only seeing things I still need to get done for the week. Then I have a Kanban board. You'll see this. I have this on my page for the semester as well. I really just find it's one of the most useful ways for me to, really think about the week and what I need to get done. As I said, as a grad student, things are always changing. And so it's sometimes, not realistic to expect I can get certain things done on a certain day. And so this is a nice way for me to track what I'm currently need to work on, what I am working on, and what I've done, and I can easily move tasks across the three categories. Lastly, I just have a month at a glance. Again, this is filtered for the current month, as well as it's filtered for tasks I still need to do. So things I've already done won't be here. And so it's just, or no, that's not the case. I can see I still have some tasks I've done. Okay, so this has tasks that I have done and have not done already. So this is just an overview of everything at the month. I honestly don't really use this other than just, trying to figure out what I have that month going on, because it's quite overwhelming to look at. Then I've set up pages for me to reference. As I said, this is completely new to me. I've only been using it for honestly not even a month. I only set it up a month ago, and so not everything's set up. Like my goal setting, I haven't figured out or set up yet, but that's something I'm hoping to develop over time as I try to figure out what works for me when setting goals. As well as my dissertation, I've set the page up, but I don't have anything on it yet because I haven't really started my dissertation yet. And so it's not relevant to me, but it will be relevant. And then I have it by semester. And as I said, I've only just started this semester, so I only have this semester's content. And so when I click on the semester page, you'll see kind of a similar setup. I'll have almost a table of contents of other pages, and I have the pages broke down by, courses I'm taking, TA-ships, other jobs. Really, I just kind of call this like my job category, so I can filter for, if I want to think about a different project or job I'm working on. I, again, as I said, have the Kanban board that I can look at if I'm just on this page to get an idea of what I need to work on this week. And then I have my large database. So how Notion works is you create a database, and you can then filter for your databases. As you saw my homepage, I was filtering for the week as well as if tasks were done or not. And so this is my database here. This is honestly something I don't ever reference. It's just a place to keep everything because you need it to keep everything. And so this is a large database for the semester. What's great about having a large database is then, you can really do a lot of neat things with it and filter based off, what you want to look at, whether that's dates, whether that's progress, whether that's the job itself. And so each page will have the database, but it filtered for that job, as I said. So you can see for this job, I have the related goals I want to work on, as well as when I want to work on them, what the progress is, as well as the estimated time and hours. I'm not necessarily keeping up with this, but it's something I wanted to trial so I can get a better understanding when planning my time. For this page, that's all I have for this project I'm working on. But you'll see with the other pages, I actually they look very differently. And I try, really capitalize on how to best use them. I really want to be cognizant of, making this work for me in the best way possible. And for each job, that might look differently. And so for one of my other jobs, as I said, I still have the database filtered for that job of things I need to do. But I also have actually created another database here because I am coding for one of my tasks. So I wanted to keep track of each of the codes I'm doing for each interview, when I'm doing it, what the status is, as well as the, times, the minutes it takes to complete coding that interview. And then with the database, you can also do some statistics. So for here, I have how many interviews I've completed, and you can see I'm quite close to my goal, as well as the average time it takes me to complete an interview. And this here is quite messy, but it's just things I need to prepare for next meeting. And so I have some files listed. I have some notes to read over. I have some, things to check off and consider. And so this, as I said, is more functional for what I need in the moment. This project itself changes with time, and so at the stage we're coding, but throughout time we're working on different things, and so I imagine this page will really change depending what stage we're in the project. Then I have the course I'm taking this semester. So again, I have the database full of all the things I need to do for the course. Basically, I took the course outline on one of the first days of the semester, went through, added all the readings I have to do each week, as well as the work I need to do each week, plus any due dates for the course. And I put it in for the whole semester. So I don't even have to think about necessarily what I need to do that week. It'll just generate itself what I have to get done. And I had that set up for the semester. I also have class notes. So generally how I have it structured is that our prof post some discussion questions for us to think about for our class. So what I do is I copy the discussion questions and then I add my thoughts to them so that when we come to class, I'm prepared kind of based off the readings and maybe any other research I do. I feel ready to talk about those things in class. And then lastly, I have my notes in the course. So just, notes from our discussions in course that I find important to record, and I can reference those as needed. Lastly, I have my TA-ship. So my TA-ship this semester looks a bit different. Typically in the past, I've taught seminars, but this time around, I'm actually a seminar coordinator. So instead of teaching the seminars, I help design the materials for seminars, as well as just overall coordinate the seminars. So make sure that the seminar leaders feel as prepared as possible, supporting them through any conflicts, questions, concerns. And so this role itself is very heavy on project management, which again makes Notion so great. And part of the reason I was interested in it, there's certain things I have to do every week as a coordinator. So every week I need to design the slides for the next seminar, I need to prep for our next meeting, and I need to send a Friday reminder email to the TAs. And so I have that built in for every week on the days I want to do them, and I can check them off as they're done. I then also have certain other tasks I need to think about in the week, such as when I need to publish certain grades, when I need to collect some feedback, when I have to design some survey links or worksheets, or when I need to do some grading myself. And so I have all my tasks kind of built in for the week, each week that I need to complete them. At the bottom here, I have feedback for the fall semester. So as the semester goes on, I'm hoping I can collect feedback really informally. I sometimes just get it in conversations through TAs, through emails, through meetings, both with TAs and students. And so as the semester goes on, I have this central spot that I can collect feedback. And so when I go to make changes for the next semester's course, then I can have this as a database to reference when I need to. And so as you saw, I really kind of, even though each page has that central database for the job of tasks, I still try to edit pages so that they're most functional for me. Sometimes they're prettier than others, but that's because, again, I'm going for function over beauty and really trying to make everything work for me the best it can. Lastly, I have my QE page. So where I'm at in the PhD process is doing my qualifying exam. I decided to make this a separate page because this process is, not bound to a semester. It's ongoing. I'm actually, where I'm in the QE process is in its final stages and wrapping up. So this doesn't have everything related to my QE. It just has things most related to what I'm working on right now. To start, I have a motivational quote, just because this is a hard task. It's large, it's ongoing. And so I have a quote to motivate myself. On the homepage, I also have a writing log here. So I can track when I'm working on writing, what my goals are, what the tasks I completed are, and the number of Pomodoros I did. I've incorporated this Pomodoro widget within the page, so I can literally just press play on this page and the timer will start counting down. I've also added an audio file. So this is a drop anchor tool. It's kind of a meditation. It's just 2 minutes long, but I find it helpful to listen to before I go into a writing session, just to help, calm my nerves and get me focused into the writing process. I also have some writing goals. These are the things I need to finish up on my paper before I submit and defend. And then I have this here. This is so I can track how many hours I'm working on my QE each week. At bare minimum, I want to work 2, but it's great if I get 8. And so this is to motivate me. And then we have a to-do list. This is just kind of small to-dos to do that I don't necessarily need to schedule into my action items. They're not something I need to necessarily get done right away. And then I have my action items. I also have 2 pages on here that help me get, prepared and are related to the QE process. One being my proposal feedback. So as I said, I'm kind of in the final stages. I've already gotten my feedback on the proposal and approval on the proposal. But I wanted a page that I can easily reference to make sure that I'm incorporating this feedback within my paper. So to start, I have the strengths up at the top here. I really wanted to pull out the strengths that I got in the feedback so that, it's the first thing I saw when I went to this page to, really put me in a good mood, because reading feedback can always be hard to read. It can be, it's easy to take personally. And so having the strengths of my idea here is nice and center in my viewpoint, helps prepare me for the feedback I'm reading. Then I have the feedback kind of ordered by, its main thing I need to incorporate, as well as the feedback itself from the committee. And then I have the next steps. So this was the, recommended references my committee read. So I just kept track of the references they, recommended I read and whether I've read them or not. And so this page is just something I can reference as I work on my QE paper, just to make sure everything is incorporated. I just wanted to make sure it was accessible, that I could always and easily reference it. Last, I have my meeting notes. So I use this if I'm meeting for anything related to my QE. So if I'm meeting with my supervisor, if I'm meeting with my committee members, even if I'm, utilizing some services within the university to work on my QE. And so basically I have this template here and I can just copy it and edit it for the meeting itself. And the template's organized in three, sections. So first off, I have my talking points. So this is everything that I prep before the meeting. So these are any questions I have, any discussions I want to have. This is really to get me organized, thinking about the meeting and preparing an agenda, to make sure what I want to talk about gets talked about in the meeting. Then I have my meeting notes. So this is something I take live during the meeting. So as we're discussing stuff, I'll take notes here, just to have an idea of the things we talked about. And lastly, I have action items. So this is something I'll fill out at the end of the meeting or after the meeting. And this is things we talked about in the meeting that, is more concrete and specific that, I need to do and follow up for that meeting. So for example, if somebody, references a resource to read, I can put it here. Or somebody, references doing a certain activity or something, I can put it here for next steps. And so this is my Notion that I use for grad school. If you use Notion for grad school, please feel free to comment down below. Again, I'm totally new to this world, and I would love to learn more. And thank you so much for watching, and